I want to quickly talk to you about how to choose the best web design software. The thing is that when you are thinking about building a website, you have all kinds of capabilities. You can actually hire someone, you can do it yourself. And if you want to do it yourself, you need to actually think about the best web design software. So here are the steps I really want you to pay attention to. So the thing is that you really got to ask yourself first, what are your programming/coding capabilities? Because the whole thing here is that you want to code. Do you know how to code? Or would you want rather just use a drag and drop builder? This is very important to have a clear idea about your resources, your acumen, but also the kind of goals you want to reach. The thing is that when we talk about web designs and website design in general, whether you're talking about coding or no coding, everything depends upon the kind of experience you want to craft for your users, right? Because you're not creating a website for yourself. You are creating a website for visitors. You're creating a website for your community, for your target audience. So you got to always keep your target audience in mind. When you are creating a website for, let's say, 18 to 21 years old versus you're creating a website for folks who are past retirement age already, the functionalities and the goals are different. And so do you want to learn to code or not? If you have no interest in learning to code, you want to stick with a YCWAG. In other words, what you see is what you get editor. So this is kind of important. And the thing is that, you can get an all-in-one platform such as Weebly. And so this is really an important element to really think about. And if you are willing to putting the time to learn to code, you have a lot more flexibility in terms of what software you can use. The thing is that when we talk about learning to code, I'm not asking you to actually study for a PhD or a master's degree in computer science, but you got to have a lot of knowledge of things like HTML5, CSS, and all that kind of stuff. And one thing I also need to mention here is that if you are willing to learn to code, you need to really have a clear idea of kind of program, what kind of functionalities you want to learn to code, because coding is a very vast sort of domain, but you got to specify what you want. Boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. We are going to have a wonderful conversation about how to choose the best web design software. Another criterion you want to really pay attention to is your budget. So when we talk about actually creating a website, you need to really think about the budgetary aspect of things. And again, going back to what I said about your target audience, it really depends on what kind of niche you're in and what kind of target audience you want to go after. So if you're going after a very quote unquote sophisticated audience, then you really want to spend some money, right? Let me give you an example. Let's say you are creating a real estate web design. A real estate website rather. You want to engage in real estate web design and you want to have one specific website for a specific transaction, or you want to have several websites for several transactions, and you want to educate your sellers and buyers, and you want to do all kinds of stuff, then you need to really spend some money. So I want you to contrast that with, let's say, a website for a nonprofit organization or a website for a personal project. Then if you have a personal project, then you do not want to spend that much money, right? So you got to really have a clear idea about your budget. Some of the best web design software, including Photoshop, for example, or Dreamweaver, they can be quite expensive. So the thing is, if you are on a tight budget, you may want to stick with a free or lower cost option. And again, it's all about the quality, the kind of quality you are going after. Quality actually is expensive, okay? Don't let anybody razzle dazzle you telling you the quality. You can get quality for cheap or for free. It doesn't happen. If you get a free web design software, chances are they might actually plaster their ads or their branding on the website that you actually create with the software, or you might have like a fewer functionalities. So it is what it is. This is just what it is. And one thing I want to say about the budget here is that it's just better to get with something middle of the market or high tier. Again, but your budget has to work with you. So it's just a lot better to save a little bit. You save a little bit before you actually get the web design software that you need and want. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about how to choose the best web design software for you right now. And so the first element you need to pay attention to is whether you want to learn to code or not. Number two, your budget. The third criterion I want you to really pay attention to are the features you are looking for. So the thing is, when you are looking for a web design software, you need to actually have in mind a few functionalities, a few features that are important for your target audience. And everything goes back to, again, to your target audience. When we talk about your target audience, I'm speaking about the geography. I'm talking about the demographics, and I'm talking about the professional experience of your target audience. And so this is going to actually dictate what kind of features you're looking for. Make sure the software you choose has all the features you need. And for instance, let's say if you want to create an online store, make sure the platform you choose has e-commerce features. Because imagine if you have an e-commerce store and you don't have certain fundamental capabilities, certain prerequisites for you to succeed. For example, you cannot have card payments capabilities. You can't get you cannot allow customers to pay via PayPal or Stripe. This is this is a no-brainer. So do not go that route. This is an important element. But one thing I need to say also is that, when we talk about features, sometimes you don't have to have all features you're looking for, but you just want to go for the most important ones. You want to start with those. Okay. And let's say you want to create custom designs, for example. You want to make sure that the software that you actually choose has what you see is what you get editor. I mean, otherwise you can't really, run a functional website. So when we talk about the YCWag editor, we're speaking about a drag and drop builder. That way you are able to see exactly what you see as you do it. You can see what will come out at the end. So this is an important element. Now, when we talk about the features that you're looking for, you also need to think about the website now, but also the website as you scale your activities, like right now, but think about the website 1 year from now, 10 years from now, 5 years from now. So you got to be able to strike the right balance between the short-term goals that you have and the medium or long-term goals. That way you are able to not only shine in the short run, but also shine in the long run, which you want anyway. If you want to impress your visitors, you need to actually strike that balance. This is so quintessential. Another thing is, if you want to choose the best web design software, you got to ask yourself, what level of experience do I have? See, the thing is that when we talk about experience, we're not just talking about coding or programming experience. We're talking in general. Because see, the thing is this your first time you want to have an online presence? Have you tried before? I mean, and what kind of capacity are you trying to have an online presence? Do you want to have an online presence, let's say, as a business person? Do you want to have an online presence as someone who is pursuing a personal project? Is it for school? Is it for your store? Is it for your brick and mortar store? Whatever is driving you to this online ecosystem, you got to really have a clear idea about it. And you have to actually link it up to the kind of experience you have. And so if you are a beginner, you want to choose software that is easy to use and has a lot of tutorials and support available. If you are more experienced, you have more leeway in terms of what you can choose, right? So those are elements you really need to see. You need to know yourself and the level of acumen you have. And also, how much flexibility do you want to have when it comes to customization? And the thing here is that to some people, customization is quite essential. To others, it's not really that relevant. But again, everything goes back to the level of acumen, the level of knowledge that you have. The more knowledge you have, the more customization you would like to have, because you know that you can actually make it, like you can actually implement it. But one thing I need to say here is that no matter which web design software you choose, remember that the most important thing is to create a website that reflects your brand and helps you achieve your business goals, right? It's not just about going into something that's very sleek, user-friendly, and that has tons of templates, that has gazillions of plugins, whatever. But if in the end you actually come up with something crappy in terms of the website, this is not going to be very, very good, and which you don't want to have anyway. This is an important element to really think about, and you want to think about it from the get-go, because your visitors are going to notice whether you put in a lot of effort into the website or not. So those are an important element to really think about. Boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about how to choose the best web design software. Next thing I want you to really think about here is that you need to also think about the what kind of company do you have? First of all, do you have a company behind this, okay? Or is this just a personal project? The thing is, the most important facet of choosing web design software for your solo venture or a small business is actually evaluating your existing capabilities. Do you have some capabilities right now? Sometimes when you have a new software to buy, we think about integrations. In other words, how does the new software rather, integrate into your existing stack? Okay. So it's important to really actually evaluate your current capabilities, so you are making the right choice. You're picking the right software tool based on your situation. If you are an experienced coder and you want more customization options, you can actually go with some software tools on the market right now. You have, for example, a Sublime Text, you have Dreamweaver. Okay. So those are really great choices. But if you need a website up and running quickly, you can go with GoDaddy, for instance. You can go with Weebly. You can go with Square. So those are better options. So it's all about what you really need. Okay. And if there are bugs affecting Squarespace and Weebly sites, you would have to go through customer service instead of being able to fix them by yourself. The same thing is true for GoDaddy. In other words, you have folks who have more experience than you, who will help you out. They will walk you through the process, and they will actually fix everything for you remotely. And so make sure you have someone dedicated to website maintenance, no matter what web design software you've chosen. Because at the end of the day, it's important to understand that the best web design software is the one that helps you create the website that you need within your budget and with as little hassle as possible. So and also one thing I want to tell you here is that at the end of the day, also, you need to take the time to explore your options and choose the software that's right for you. And when we talk about the software that's right for you, we're not just talking about a website design platform. No, we're talking about software that actually integrates to your existing platforms, whatever platform that you currently have, but also is going to scale with you. Let me give you an example. If you choose, let's say, you choose Big Cartel, or you choose Weebly, for instance, you want to make sure that Weebly can scale with your organization. Right now, you're probably handling like 5 customers. What if you handle 50 customers? Can they work with you? Let me give you the approach I want you to follow right now. And it's really important to understand that, if you want to find your best web design software, you really need to pay attention to a few criteria. And those criteria for the last 20 years, they haven't changed at all. I mean, the only change that maybe came was the rise of mobile marketing and mobile friendliness and mobile commerce in general. But some of those factors, or if not 90% of those factors, they've been the same for the last 20 years. So first of all, you got to really think about you want to have an easy to use editor. Okay, you gotta have easy to use editor. Don't try to complicate things. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Nowadays, you really want to have something that's very easy to use. Also, you want to think about pre-built templates. In other words, you want to have a constellation of templates that you can just pick from and maybe explore and see what's great for you. And you also want to have e-commerce capability, because even though you might be saying, listen, I don't plan, or I don't really envision selling online. You never know. Things might change, and you might have to create an online store to be able to capture the audience you have on other platforms. So it's always great to have this sort of flexibility in the back of your head. And also, you want to think about the code-based UI design. In other words, you want to be able to have a user interface that really is great for all kinds of users, including programmers. And also think about the pricing. If you want to choose the best web design software, Pricing is important because you do not want to break the bank as you are pursuing your online adventure. And also think about customer support. What kind of customer support would you like to have? Do you want to be able to talk to someone like on the phone via email or text message, or do you want to wait for forever? And some cases you have some web design software providers that do not even have an engaged community for their customers who are not paying. So non-paying customers, they don't get good customer service. Let me give you a few pro tips before we close to this conversation. The thing here is that when you think about the best website design software, you need to really understand that there is no like a big name out there. I mean, I could have given you several names, but I just want you to think about the fact that you want to have a web design software tool that actually helps you create the website you need within your budget and with as little difficulty as possible. If you can have that, then you can really just do anything you want. Okay. Now, when you think about the best, that's one thing, but what about the easiest? Well, the easiest, you have Squarespace, Weebly, and Shopify in general. Those are the easiest. And so HTML is great for creating websites because you are able to actually have access to all kinds of functionalities. Having said that, although HTML is the basis for all static web pages, most websites now use CSS for style and JavaScript as well as other enhancements. And so web design software can have these features already made for you with templates. So this is the kind of flexibility you want to go after, so that you are really you're really good to go from day one. And remember that you can always design a website without coding. I mean, that's the whole thing here. The whole channel that we have. We want to focus on no coding channels, no code channels. So you got to have a clear idea of what's really working for you here. And one thing I also need to say is that you got to really also think about your coding experience, your computer knowledge at some point, because even if you're not trying to choose the best web design software yourself, or even maybe use the software to do to set up your website, you still need to understand how how things work in the background. That way, if there is a problem with the software and you need to really come up with a solution real quick, and you need to, otherwise you will lose money, then you basically can use your acumen that you have accumulated over several years, and you can actually use it here. And so you also can make a website for free. I mean, there are players out there, they kind of lure you in, but with free website design. But once you actually are in, you're going to have to actually comply with all the rules. You're going to have to actually work a little harder. You're going to have to learn how to edit, how to upload, and how to maintain a website. It's just fantastic. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I explained to you how to choose the web design software. So I give you the steps, I give you the approach, and I give you the pro tips. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.